What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto. Shout out to the Dragon Riders. Shout out to the House of the Dragon. You guys, we've been on a terror. We've been straight terrorizing the Red Dragon, being on our Green Dragons. And you know, yesterday I did make the hefty call saying, "Hey guys, I think it's time to let our Green Dragons take a rest. They're going to land. We're not just gliding at this point. We're going to land on top of our mountain of gold, and we're just going to rest for a little bit." So the Red Dragon has taken over. We are moving down a little bit. We had a little bit. It seems so dramatic, right? We were all the way up at 700, and now we're at 613. But like, really, we dropped. I mean, overall, we haven't even dropped 15%, which for Bitcoin Cash, that's nothing, right? Like, it's kind of crazy. If you're watching the charts like a crack addict, you're probably like, "What's going on?" But if you've been in crypto for a while, you're like, "Okay, it's standard volatility." It's nothing to get excited about for yet, and I do mean excited because when we drop, guys, it's always exciting. It gives you an opportunity to buy more. Being that we tipped the 1618, we have two options, my friends. We have two options from here, okay? Either we find support at the 1272, which can be done. It absolutely can be done. Or more commonly, we could pull back to our 886 100 level, which is between about $504 to $530, something like that. And that's those are targets, you know, I've been talking about even before we found our high. I'm putting it on your radar because I want you guys to be aware. But the thing is we do not have to hit this zone. We don't. If we find support here. If we find support here and we break above this 618, you guys, we're moving up to $800. We're going to move up to $800. We could do that right now. Yes, this was a momentary high. Yes, we dropped a little bit quicker, and it's still not even that dramatic, but we dropped a little bit quicker than I would have thought we did. But I love seeing the quick drops, man. Anytime you get a quick drop, boom, it's out of the way, essentially. I guess, I mean, technically you got a double bottom here. But maybe this is a better chance. You get your quick drop, boom, it's out of the way, you start building. I don't know. Wasn't really a good example either way. Generally, quick drops are nice because they, especially whenever they get eaten back up, that tends to mean you're not going to go lower. Where if you're just like slowly grinding your way down, that can take like months. Like, you know, let's say your target was this zone. Wouldn't you rather hit it down here and just see a quick drop and be done with it and then move out? Or would you rather, you know, the long, boring stuff? This, in reality, like, people think this would be the most terrifying thing, right? That this right here would be so terrifying. Like, how would you hold through that? That's so terrifying. But, like, the reality of it would be, and anybody who's been in markets for a long time, is that the most terrifying thing, in my opinion, at least, is this. Is having that same destination but taking your sweet time doing it. You know, that boring people, having an asset be boring scares more people out, gets more people out. You guys, and I feel bad, I'm not poking fun at anybody, but man, there were so many people. You guys remember back here, maybe some of you even watching it now, you had to buy at higher prices, but there were so many people that commented, they're like, "Man, I sold below 300. You know, like, I should have held." Like, there's so many people saying that back around here. I haven't heard it as much now, but that's either because they've moved on to other projects, you know, they can't stand to look at BCH, or because they've just bitten the bullet and gotten it at higher prices and then finally enjoyed the ride. You guys, it's a long game that we're playing. I don't care how low we go. I don't care how long it takes us to get there. We might have found our low already. We might have longer to go. We might have further to go in a distance. We might have further to go in a time frame. But however low we go, however long it takes us to get there, we are so early. We are so very, very early for Bitcoin Cash. We're so very early for the cycle in general, okay? Likely, in my opinion, based off of what we've seen historically with every crypto cycle, we will top out at some point in late 2025, the second half of 2025, okay? That's just the dry cut of that right there, right? The clean cut. I don't know what word. I don't know why I said dry cut. I don't even know if that's actually a saying, but the dry cut, baby. That generally is when we end our bull markets, is about a year and a half after the Bitcoin halving, which in this case, if the halving's in April, a year would be April 2025. Add a half to that would be October of 2025, you know, so, and that's actually where I think we're going to top off, is October 2025. Now, that doesn't mean that we're just going to move up straight that whole time, nonstop, all gas, no brakes. We'll move up, we'll consolidate, we'll move up more, we'll consolidate, but, you know, a lot of people still, I see this all the time, And I think it's from a lot of people who are newer in crypto, but there's people who are older in crypto too, who say this, and it doesn't make sense to me. But we all look at things differently, and whatever. If you're making money, who cares, right? Like who cares what I say? But a lot of people are still not calling this a bull market, and it's like, to me, Bitcoin Cash started its bull market back in June of 2023. And it's been in a bull market since then, but it hasn't moved up straight since then, right? We consolidated for like half a year, man, like for a very long time. What was it? June? Longer than that. It was like 3/4 of a year, man. A very, very long time, you know. And that doesn't mean that we are unable to see the immaculate prices that I've been talking about, right? Going all the way up to 13K, 20K, potentially higher than that. It just doesn't mean that we're going to see it overnight, you know. If we were to see this growth, this kind of continued growth, all the way up, that'd be at 1653. So here, 1600, essentially right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, if we were to see months like this, technically all it would take is 4 more months to get all the way up to 20K. And that'd be nice, but that's not how it happens. We're not going to have, you know, someone pointed this out to me in my first crypto bull market. They said that, so right here, if we go back to Bitcoin, this was the statistic for BTC, was that, and I believe it was for the 2017 cycle. It was something like, I guess maybe I'd have to look at it on the weekly actually, but it was something like 10 weeks was all it took to go from your cycle low to your cycle high. Like as far as like overall growth went. That's what they said, but I don't know. I'm like checking that now and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right to me. I don't know. I don't know, man. Yeah. Maybe it was months. I don't know. That's a moot point. That's a lost point. I'm going to move on from that and come back to BCH. All I'm trying to say is I was trying to get onto that point by basically saying the same thing. All it's going to take is 4 months of 133% moves. 4 months of like essentially this exact month that we had in March, right? But all 4 of those months are not going to happen in a row. They might not be complete months. 1 month might be 200%. And then we'll have 5 or 6 months that are 50% months, you know, something like that. Whatever totals to this overall growth that would take us to 20K, it's going to take a short amount of time when it does happen, but it's going to take a long amount of time for us to find those key points into when it does happen, if that makes sense. I'm getting all philosophical with my words here. All I'm trying to say is we've got higher to go. It's not going to happen overnight. But all the dips, all the lows right now. Shout out to Crypto Investor. I saw that you bought more on the dip to 605 recently that we had. And shout out to every single Dragon Rider that's loading up more. You guys, this is what it's for. You know, on the series of calling this thing the Dragon, right? We rise, we fly, we find our mountain of gold, and we rest on it for a bit, right? You load up, you resupply, and then boom, we're flying again. If we're taking a break now, which that's what I was saying yesterday, is that we're going to take a little break now. A little break. It's not going. I don't think we're going to do something like this. Just a little break for now. Seeing a 15% pullback, a 10% pullback, perfect time to re-up on your supplies, right? It's perfect time to get loaded, to get some more stuff, and get ready for the next adventure into the skies that we are more or less likely going to see in a very short amount of time. I'm doing a whole lot of talking, man. This daily RSI having some bearish divergence on it. The divergence is already fulfilled, but I can't help but think we were overbought, and it's looking like we're not going to be overbought now. It depends on how today closes. Now, if today closes at this overbought zone, if we can bounce off the overbought zone, cool. We might see a more or less immediate growth, again, up to $800. That's what I was saying in the beginning. We really could, you guys, before the halving, we could see a move up to about $800. Or higher. That'd be great. That'd be awesome, but it could happen. We could have found our low already. Who knows? But my thoughts are, at this point in time, just looking at this, we either hold support at about $599, $600, or we go down to $500 to $530. And I personally think, just based off of the statistical likelihoods, right, the probabilities of it all, we're probably going to work our way back to 530 to 504. The only way that I would see 600 holding is if, well, for one, we bounced off it now, and then two, we would have to get above the 618. If we can get above the 618, cool, then I don't actually think we'll ever go below 600 again. I think at that point, maybe we go up to the 886, maybe we even go all the way up to your 2272, whatever, and then what would happen is we find support either on your 1618 or somewhere in this zone again, something like that. So it just depends. It really does depend on today. It depends on the next coming days, what we do with this zone here. And at this point in time, I am assuming, just with the way the RSI looks, that we probably will break this level. And if we do break that level, likely, we don't have to, but likely, we'll go down to about 500 to 530. 500, 530, somewhere in there. Bounce around the 50 area as we did before, and then continue higher. Bounce off of a previous area of resistance, and then continue higher, right? Previous area of resistance, pretty close, pretty damn close to that, and then here, low, like literally tipped this previous area of resistance. So I don't know. If we came back to this area of resistance, it would not be uncalled for at all. I want to look at the 4 hour real quick. And then we'll look at the short-term time frames. I know MHAT likes those short-term time frames. Yeah, you guys, this is another thing, a dead giveaway. And it hasn't worked out every single time that I've talked about this, but it generally is something that you should look for, is whenever you're getting movements up consistently, look at the volume, right? You had a nice move up right here with decent volume. Then you had an even nicer move with less volume, and then another nice move with even less volume. You have that with going up. It's not a good combination. So being that we were not only having that with the volume, but we were at the 1618, we had bearish divergence on the daily RSI. It just all kind of culminated with the series of events that led me to believe we were at the top, if not near the top. And yeah, so looking at it now, again, there's hope we could hold this $600 area, but I genuinely do think we're going to go to 500, 530. We are at the lowest readings right now on the RSI that we've been since we found our low on this last little consolidation phase. So we might be consolidating again. Whatever, that's okay. Again, I don't think we're going to consolidate as long as we did for 3/4 of a year here. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I do think we could consolidate. Maybe it takes a week or two. It could take all of April. Who knows how long? We'll probably find our bottom relatively recent or relatively short from now. But after we find our low, that doesn't mean we're just going to go straight off and skyrocket. It could, but odds are we probably find our low, we wig-wag our way up, and then as we get there, boom, then we do our thing, And maybe it's not exactly like this. Maybe we wig-wag, we form another double bottom like we did before, or a higher low. Who knows how it looks, but all I'm trying to say is really we'll probably find our low sooner than we will start to look bullish again. Just because we've found our low doesn't mean that we're off to the races. That could happen. It genuinely, V-shaped recoveries do happen, and Bitcoin Cash is a volatile beast in its own right. But I'm just going off of what is more common, which would be not, V-shaped recoveries are fairly common, but the more common thing is you find your low, you consolidate around your low, you move up, you pull back, you consolidate around your previous resistance points, and then you get to that resistance point, you break up, and you pull back to your previous resistance point, you stair-step your way up until you're at the grand resistance point itself, and then you have your real breakout, then you see your move. I don't know, something like that. Totally speculative, totally rubbing the crystal ball there. That's, that we don't know what it's going to look like until it happens. But as of right now, the 4 hour does look bearish. I want to look at the 1 hour. 1 hour is bearish as hell, bro. The most bearish. In fact, this is the most bearish look we've had again since the low points here, man. Yeah. Bounce off the 40 here. Bounced off your oversold zone and went straight up. Here we bounced off the 40 and then rejected the 50. It's the we did bounce off the 123 here. We're at it now, but we bounced off it here. We're here. This is our 3rd hour on this. We're here. It was a wick on 1 hour, and then we moved up. I'll put the ribbons on here too to get a little look, but I want to look at this fib real quick. Come on, high to low. if I can get it right. Come on, baby. There we go. 382. Yeah, buddy. That's it's not a good look. Not a good combination. Anybody that's been watching this channel for a while, you guys know strong moves, whether it's down or up, you look to find support or resistance on your 382, and if you do, generally marks continuation, which we did get. So just solidifying the idea again that we're probably going to go lower. Let's see. Yeah. And that 1618 is all the way down to 595, man. And if we break that 12, we can wick below the 1272, but if we break it on a 4-hour basis or higher, you know, look out. 530, $500, somewhere around there. That's where we're going. I want to look at the 15-minute time frame because I know there are those of you who appreciate it. Yeah, 15-minute looks bearish too. You see how you're building volume as you're moving down, right? Not a good look. I want to look at the ribbons. Ribbon. Yep. Bearish. Ooh, getting a 1-hour cross potentially. We're not there yet, but potentially. And the 4-hour, you're good. And the daily, you're so far above it. Yeah, man. I mean, you'll probably dip back into it again, but you're not going to flip it. I wouldn't think that you'd flip it. And then your weekly, you're way the hell away from it. So, yeah. Yep. I don't know. Monthly is kind of an interesting one. This one gives me a little bit of excitement, right? We're looking like we want to cross it for the first time in Bitcoin Cash's history. This is what I don't get, man. All these people are bullish on Bitcoin Cash, but when they hear my bullish opinions about 13K to 23K, you laugh, you call me crazy, you say I'm just doing it to get subscribers and likes. And guys, I'm not gonna say that I don't add grabby, gotcha, whatever titles, or at least I try to sometimes, not always, but most of the time, you know, I try to do that, but I'm not doing things really out there to like lie to you or psych you up just so you'll like and subscribe to the channel, because inevitably I'm going to have to pay the piper. I'm going to have to reap what I sow. And I can't promise you anything. I'm not a financial advisor, but if I'm talking about 100K Bitcoin Cash, like why talk about 20 to 13K? Why talk about reasonable fib extensions when I could talk about 100K Bitcoin Cash? If Bitcoin's going to go to 100, why can't, you know, I think Bitcoin could go to 400, 500K. Why can't Bitcoin Cash be worth at least a quarter of that? You know, I could come up with a whole BS story behind that because Bitcoin Cash is the better Bitcoin. It deserves that kind of market cap. You know, like if I wanted to lie, why do it with reasonable fibs? If I wanted to do it for attention, for subscribers, for likes, it's not me. It's not how I go about it, man. Because eventually those prices will not happen, right? Not in this cycle, and then I'd have to answer to that. And you know, like I don't know. That's just not my style. We're riding and dying together on 13 to 20K, or we're not, man. Like if we don't hit 13K, I'm going to be just as crushed and surprised by it as you guys would be, because I genuinely mean what I say. I'm not just saying it for likes, for subscribes. I'm not just saying it because I'm telling you what you want to hear. I'm telling you what I want to say is what I'm telling you. And what I want to say is that this is pretty damn bullish. It's a pretty damn bullish looking monthly ribbon. Until it crosses, there's the potential that we could go lower, of course. But as of right now, I'm very optimistic, man. And if we get this monthly cross that we've never seen before, if we get this monthly cross that we have never seen before on Bitcoin Cash, how can you tell me that we're going to do anything short of a magnificent move up, man? I would very much anticipate, obviously, that we would see higher highs than that. But being that this would then imply that we break above this 61869 zone on the second pass, the way that I've come to learn fibs, the way that fibs are done, is that within the first two passes, if you break above the golden ratio, you are likely, not just a possibility, not just a hope, you are likely to see this zone, which does include a price of 53K. If I wanted to say this stuff just for likes and subscribes, don't you think I'd be focusing on that price? Because this is technically in the expected zone. I mention it every time, but I always say I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't bet that it doesn't happen. I do accept it as a possibility. That's what the fibs tell us. That is the truth of the matter. But what I'm expecting to happen, I've said it time and time again, and I'm going to keep saying it until it happens, guys, is 13K to 23.2K. And it could sound crazy to you now, But as we get higher, as things start to click, as you see that Bitcoin Cash really is doing different things than it's ever done before in its entirety of existence since the hard fork, you'll come around. You'll come to see, oh, Bitcoin did a run where it was at these prices in 2015, and then by the end of 2017, it was all the way up at 20K. Oh, dots connect in there. You know, Bitcoin Cash can do the same thing. It's literally the same crypto, man. It's just a better one. That's all. It's a hard fork of the same software. Just it became better. It's literally better. There's no other way around it. It's the better Bitcoin. And you're telling me that the better Bitcoin can't do from the same price levels that Bitcoin saw in 2015? You're telling me that it can't see the same kind of growth in one cycle? It's already been done before. This is what I love about BTC. A lot of people in the BCH community don't like BTC. I like BTC, man. I'm not a BCH maxi or BTC maxi. I'm gonna make myself some gains maxi. You know, if we go back to 2015 here, you know, you went down as low as like $115, $200, whatever. If we pull it up on the index, it might be better. Maybe get rid of. Oh, those don't come on. $170, whatever, moved all the way up to just under 20K, right? In a cycle, in one whole cycle. We've seen that before from the same area. And the thing is Bitcoin itself only accumulated in this area from January of 2015 until November of 2015, not even a year. Where BCH has been accumulating in this range for a very long time. Like, arguably, you could say here, okay, arguably, it did it for about a year, which is still longer than Bitcoin did. But debatably, it's also been for several years. We've been in this area for a long time. You're telling me that we can't make a 20K move? We've already seen BTC do it, you know? We've already seen Bitcoin do it. We can't see Bitcoin Cash do it. Why? Why? I don't know. I don't know, man. Well, time will tell. Time will tell. But I'm going to stop ranting, stop asking why, stop just talking for the sake of talking. Let's look at the 3-day real quick. That 3-day looks clean, bro. Yep. Looking like a little bit of a bearish reversal. Today will be the end of that. Yeah, that would definitely not be a good look. Also, just looking at the volume, right? Like a clear drop off in volume on this next move up. So where are we going to go? We'll probably go back to where the volume was, and then we'll find support there and then go up. We could drop below $500. It could happen, but as of right now, my personal targets are 500 to 530. So I'm just going to end it there, guys. If you like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for hearing all the ranting and rambles and the TA, and I will see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.